Football from Yard, the People's Channel.
Greetings, Football from Yard Massive. Today we're providing a quick overview of the USA men's national team, the Reggae Boyz' first opponent in the 2023 edition of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Jamaica will be facing the Yanks and their core group of fans, aka Sam's Army, in Chicago at Soldier Field, home to the NFL Chicago Bears. The US squad is dramatically different from the team that recently won the CONCACAF Nations League, with 16 of the 23 members being from the MLS and only 5 players being holdovers from that squad. As usual, America checks the box in terms of goalkeeping competence. Arsenal's Matt Turner is the number 1, and New York FC's shotstopper Sean Johnson is an able deputy. Teenage goalkeeper Gaga Sonina, who recently signed with Chelsea, is supposed to be the next big thing in America's long line of outstanding goalkeepers. If there's one level where some of the keepers are a little bit below the elite level, it's their distribution. Miles Robinson of Atlanta United and Chris Richards from Crystal Palace are the 2 top central defenders in the squad. Both missed last year's World Cup due to injury. Aaron Long of LAFC and Matt Miazga of Cincinnati FC are 2 veteran options that they do have, but the 2 tend to have concentration issues. The wingback group is a fairly inexperienced lot at the international level, with DeAndre Yedling being the exception. The left-back slot in particular is unsettled, and the personnel looks susceptible on the defensive end. For the first in a while, the USA midfield looks a little bit short on the hustling side. Gianluca Busio and Jordi Mihailovic are 2 highly technical players. Alan Sonora, son of an Argentine former MLS player, has also been included. He's a good passer, who is particularly dangerous on free kicks and a deceptive dribbler. If you listen to a certain segment of MLS fans, 21-year-old Columbus Crew midfielder Aidan Morris will be the next big export. The two-way midfielder's intensity is what spectators are accustomed to seeing from US midfielders. With that said, he is a bit short on international experience. The attacking unit provides the coaching staff with different options. Alvas Powell's club teammate Brandon Vasquez is a traditional target striker. Jesus Ferreira is an in-the-box goal rat who is constantly looking for gaps to move into. And the youngster Cade Cowell is fast and strong and very direct, but can be somewhat inconsistent. Mexican-based dual national Alexander Zendejas is also in the squad. While the coaches deviate from time to time, depending on the opposition, the US program's baseline formation is a 4-3-3 setup. Despite the personnel being a notch or 2 below the A team, the US is likely to be difficult to beat. Most American players are well versed in their national team system, and the coaching staff always has detailed information and analysis available on their opposition. Speaking of staff, Greg Berhalter was recently rehired as the head coach after going through what seemed like a season of Gossip Girls. Giovanni Reyna's parents were allegedly trying to blackmail Berhalter about a domestic dispute from 30 years ago. He eventually was cleared through an investigation, reapplied for the job, and was victorious in the end. Strangely though, he will not be coaching until after the Gold Cup. Relatively unknown assistant BJ Callahan, the second man to be the interim coach since Berhalter's Pasa Pasa, will lead the team. Callahan, like Anthony Hudson, the interim coach before him, maintains Berhalter's overall principles, but sets up his central midfield in a slightly more attacking manner. Against Caribbean teams in particular, the US team usually has their central defenders and wingbacks pushing forward quickly to create numerical mismatches and defensive uncertainty. While the opposition defense is scrambling due to the overloading of the flank, the US then cuts the ball back to trailing runners from the midfield. Their approach requires maximum fitness levels, something that they usually have in abundance. One blessing of the Yanks having a large MLS-based squad is that their players will be at peak fitness and thus should be able to play at a fairly high tempo. Although they are dangerous on the counter-attack, their team is vulnerable when high-pressed. The defenders and goalkeepers aren't the most technical, so there is the occasional turnover in bad places. It also is yet to be seen how that midfield of theirs will look. On paper, Jamaica has a squad that is able to defeat the US team. It will be up to Coach Hallgrimsson and his staff to come up with an approach that enables the Reggae Boyz to knock them off balance and get them flustered. Respect as always. Linkage next time.